there are two worlds, I believe, that are out there. There's the internal world and the external world. Mark kind of alluded to this earlier. The external world, you have no control over. You may have some influence, like I can influence somebody who shows up or does not show up on time, but I can't control it ultimately. And the internal world is what we do have control, our response mechanisms, the time that it takes to respond. And when we work on things like our emotions, our meaning, it drives our actions. This is where that internal world is in complete control, because you don't experience the life that you live, you're experiencing the life that you focus on. In the external world, one of the greatest pieces of advice I got from one of my mentors, he's like my second mentor. His name was Harold Cunningham. He was truly like a dad to me. And he made me memorize the Serenity Prayer. Does anybody know that? God grant me, who knows it? God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen, brother. Understanding that saved my mental fortitude, because when I learned this, I had a business. I was 32 years old. I had a business that was about 18 million in revenue, 300, give or take, employees. And every single day I would walk around looking at shit going, my God. And I was always frustrated, always angry. And I'm 32 years old. I mean, I am doing okay at this time. But I'm miserable. And that lesson of being able to understand and make the distinction between what I can control and what I can't control, and having that wisdom to know the difference between the two, was an immeasurable and powerful force that I learned. We're going to walk through, let's put up the identities. Can we bring up my old identity chart? I'm going to take, oops. This is my old identity chart. I might have to come down to look at this with you guys. So back in the day, I was working with Stephen Covey. Covey calls this roles. Tony calls it identities. I want to make sure I acknowledge these guys because the work that they've done is unmeasurable. But in the days, this kind of is a chart. I actually found this while I was working on this whole identity piece for you guys. And I came across this. This I created, I don't even know what year I created this. But back in the old days, my old identity chart, this is but I didn't call it, I reframed the name identity. It was called roles. So my old role chart was like, in our life, we all have certain, you put what you need to put around. Back then I was like, I'm a dad, I'm a teacher, I'm a lover, I'm an athlete, I'm a warrior, I'm an adventurer. And so, but the distinction I was making at the time was, there was the general inside of me. And actually, there's a couple distinctions here. The warrior is who used to run the show for me. He was not a nice person. Unyielding, conqueror, never quit, killing, vicious, relentless, brave, aggressive, angry, fierce. He's the guy that ran my life for several years. But then, through time and some experiences that I'd rather not repeat, I started to soften a little bit, and I ended up on the general. And this guy is the guy that and he's bigger than everybody else because he leaked into all the other identities that I had. And the general was rules-oriented, disciplined, strict, unyielding, stiff, rigid, no bullshit, commanding, blah, 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 blah. Who likes working with that guy? No, I was working for him. I didn't like working for him. And so in my journey, if we can pop up the new identity chart, over time, I recreated what needed to happen in my life. And so I did this for my wife. Through a lot of pain and self-suffering, I had to get to the point where the general just couldn't run the show anymore because it was just not sustainable. And so I went on a journey to figure out, how is this all going to work for me? And what do I consciously want my life to look at? And for those of you who know me, my number one purpose in life, my personal purpose in life, is to overfill the cup of my wife. That's it. The business can go away, the cars can go away, the boats, the house, it can all go. She is by far and away the most important and purposeful thing that I focus my energy on. I'm also a father, and I love my son, and he's here in the room. And my son is my greatest success, without question and without measure. But my purpose is my girl. Because if I focus and I show him what that man can do and how he can live, then I'm giving him lessons that will feed him for a lifetime. And so she must come first before him. That does not mean I love my son any. This is not about love. This is about focus of attention and purposefulness. And so I created the Love Slave. I don't have a description for it because it would kind of read like the porn that I was talking about at the beginning. But that Love Slave filters into everything that I do. This is me. I'm not saying this should be you. That is not what I'm saying. I'm sharing with you my journey from a lot of skinned knees and what felt like being dragged behind a car. But these are now all of my identities. So there's the Love Slave, there's the best me, he's the philanthropist, and he's also the person where I have a tendency to stay in my work. And when people go, hey, let's go for dinner or let's go play golf. Nah, I got no time for that, I gotta work. And so I created the best me, actually. He popped up only just a few years ago because I realized that I needed another part of me to kind of integrate. I'm not a balanced person. I completely am aligned with Mark. I believe in integration. And so I integrated that best me into the whole complexity of my identity chart. I have the athletic adventurer, we call him the Silver Surfer. And because I'm bald and he's bald, that makes a lot of sense, right? The profit seeker, the outrageous father, the chairman, the student, the peak performance coach. So inside my business, I have 3 identities. Profit seeker, chairman, peak performance coach. I'm going to show you a little bit more of the chairman now. Actually, let's bring up the chairman.